Talking about relationships and partnerships and so forth and so on, this month I have received I don't know how many invitations to single parties, singles events, and I don't know, matchmaking things, and I must admit I have never been to any of them, not one, but I will get to one day, I do promise. But talking of that, I'm going to bring on my next guest, who is a beautiful lady, and she's feeling a little bit nervous, so we're going to give her a big iTalk welcome, and she's going to tell us all about what she does. So please welcome to the Good Morning Show, the lovely Sarah Allibone. A very good morning to you. How are you, Sarah?
Good morning. I'm fantastic, thank you. Thank you for the very nice introduction.
Oh, so you're very welcome. I don't like nervousness on my show. I like everybody to chill out, get a nice cup of tea, sit down, put your feet up, and we'll have a little talk. That's all.
Oh, okay. A few biscuits as well. Very nice.
Oh no, don't say that, because Lisa Marie's probably tuned in, and I'm on this transformation challenge. She's trying to half me down to size, and so biscuits is a no-no at the moment.
Oh dear.
I know. So, Sarah, you have a very interesting job, don't you? I mean, tell us exactly what you do.
I do have an interesting job. I absolutely love it. I run a company called DateClub, which I started in Spain 8 years ago. And we've been successfully organising events for singles in Barcelona and Madrid for the last almost 8 years. And now we're just about to sort of expand the events onto the Costa del Sol. Because, you know, I feel there's a real need here for events for single people. Even though you say you've been invited to a lot, up until recently, there hasn't been many events down here for single people to give them the opportunity to meet each other.
Mm-hmm. Well, I've only been here a year, so actually not even a year yet. I arrived on the 31st of May, so yes, sounds like I arrived at the right time then.
You have.
So tell me, I'm fascinated, because when I had a look at your publicity and the email you sent me, I saw this thing about lock and key. Okay, that sounds like really great fun. Can you tell our listeners what that is?
Yeah, absolutely. What we do, we organise mainly two types of events. We organise speed dating events, but also what we call lock and key parties. Now, some people think, ooh, it sounds a bit sort of 60s, where people all just sort of used to put their keys apparently into a dish into the middle of the room. But it's nothing sordid like that. It's
hang on a second. Can I stop you there? Please explain that one. What did people used to do? They used to put their keys in the middle of the bowl.
Yeah, and I think they would pick out. They would choose a key, and that meant that would be the person that you would sort of spend the rest of the evening with.
Well, I can't think of anything worse.
No. But it's nothing like that, because what you often find with singles parties, if there's no theme, then people will go. Mm-hmm. But because most people are a little bit shy to approach other people, they'll tend to sort of stay on their own or stick in their own small group, and they won't mingle with many people during the evening.
That's me. Yeah, that's me. I'll stand in the corner.
Well, I do the same. So it's because it's sort of quite daunting to just go up to somebody that you don't know and introduce yourself and worry about sort of being rejected, or all those sort of things go through your head. With the lock and key game, what happens is when the girls come to the party, they receive a lock and the guys receive a key. Now, each lock and key has a match. So the idea is that it helps people to circulate during the evening, trying to find the match to the lock or the key. If that happens, the guy and the girl go up to a table. They receive a raffle ticket for a prize draw later in the evening, and then they receive a different lock and key to start the whole process again. And you'd be amazed, it gives a fantastic buzz in the party, because everybody's just mingling all night, because obviously the more matches they find, the more tickets they get, the more chances they have of winning a prize. Mm-hmm. But it's just also an excuse to approach someone, but also to sort of walk away from them if you're not that keen on continuing a conversation with them. And so it works really well.
Yeah, and it kind of puts a whole new slant on the speed dating thing, doesn't it? Because that was a little bit boring as well. I mean, with speed dating, if I'm not mistaken, of course, from what I read about it, you just get a couple of minutes allocated to sit with another person, don't you, to try and do an introduction or whatever, and then you have to move on to the next one.
Yeah, but to be honest, I mean, I wouldn't say it's boring, obviously, because we offer speed dating as well. But it's a bit more formal than the lock and key parties. In our events, you get 5 minutes with each person.
Oh, right.
Which doesn't sound an awful amount of time, but to be honest, it's if you're sitting opposite somebody that you're not interested in, then 5 minutes can seem like a
lifetime.
long time. So 5 minutes is a good enough amount of time for you to see who you might be interested in. And then there's time after the event when people stay on and mingle to sort of chat to the people more that you like in the group and decide if you want to sort of select them after the event. So it's a bit more formal. So that's what we try and do. We offer something for everyone. For the people that are not keen on the speed dating idea, then we've got the lock and key parties, which is less formal.
Mm-hmm. And tell me, how many successful marriages have you had? Not here on the Costa del Sol, obviously, because it's not been going long enough, but say across Madrid and the other areas.
My problem is I sort of hear through the grapevine of couples that are living together, have got married. Most people don't contact me and tell me that they've sort of met the love of their life. Of the ones that have contacted me and that I know about, there have been 4. So, if there's 4 that I know of, there's got to be a lot more that I don't know of.
Mm-hmm. And are these events primarily English-speaking events, or do you have all nationalities?
Mm-hmm. Well, the events are open to all nationalities. The hosts in Barcelona and Madrid host the event in both Spanish and English. So we try to cater for everybody. Down here on the Costa del Sol, we're due to do our first speed dating event in May. As it's more international down here, it will probably be done in English. Mm-hmm. But again, our hosts speak Spanish, so if anybody Spanish comes along, we will be able to explain everything to them as well. So we try and cater for everybody.
Wonderful. And when's your next lock and key party? Because I've just missed one, haven't I?
You have. The next lock and key party is on Saturday, the 4th of May, and that will be at Mosaic Restaurant, which is in El Rosario, just outside of Marbella. And then 3 weeks later, on the 25th of May, we also have a speed dating event also at Mosaic as well.
Mm. Okay, I'm going to ask you a personal question now.
That's okay.
What made you go into this area of business?
Yeah, it's a funny thing. It's not what I expected to be doing at this point in my life, but basically, just before I came to Spain, I split up with a guy that I'd been in a long-term relationship with. So when I was back in England, I actually tried speed dating for the first time. I tried it 3 times and met some fantastic people, and I absolutely loved it. I mean, every time was just such an exciting experience, and getting the matches afterwards and going out on dates with different people. I just thought it was brilliant. Then I moved to Spain, and at that time there weren't really any companies here offering speed dating events. So I decided to start it up and sort of offer the service to people here in Spain.
And can I ask you, what were you doing before you did this then? Because you said it's not something that you hadn't envisioned.
Yeah, I mean, before I was an accountant. So, I mean, I was never happier than when I was sitting at a desk with my calculator and my ledger and working on the computer. All very boring, quite solitary work. This is completely different, very social. You meet some amazing people. It's very rewarding when you hear about sort of people getting together after the event, and I love it.
And you're still counting, because you're counting heads.
I am.
No pun intended, of course. Well, it's so lovely. I find this absolutely fascinating and really, really interesting. So, have you got long-term plans? I presume you have long-term plans for these events here on the Costa del Sol?
Absolutely. I mean, really, I've got long-term plans for the events in the whole of Spain. I would like to be the number one sort of singles events provider in Spain. We have a very nice website, and we offer a good professional service. We're not just like an individual that sort of decides to try and throw an event and post it on Facebook. We've got a very nice website. It's a legitimate business, and we take great pride in what we do, and always try and provide a great experience for everybody at each event that we do, because that really matters to us. That everybody that comes has a great time.
And doesn't stand in the corner like I'm the only person that can go to a networking event and just stand in the corner. I'm getting a bit better.
Well, listen, you will have to come speed dating, because you won't be able to stand in the corner. You'll have no choice. Yeah. Everybody has to meet everybody else, and actually that's why it's so successful, because sometimes you can look at somebody and think, no, they're not really my type. But then when you're actually, we're not forced, but you actually sort of have to have a short conversation with them, it can completely change your mind about that person.
Yeah, but you know what the problem is with that? Mm-hmm. I'd be sat there talking to whoever it was, and I'd be going, so tell me about your life. How did you get into this? And I'd be interviewing them like I was on the radio or something. and immediately they'd be going, no, this she asked too many questions.
I'm sure if you told them what you do for a job, they would understand.
Oh, no, I'm only a volunteer here. This is not what I do for a job. I'm only a volunteer here at iTalk.
Oh, right, okay.
So tell me, Sarah, how can people reach you first and foremost? You mentioned the website, so what's your website?
Absolutely. The website is, I'll say it nice and slowly so all your listeners can write it down, hopefully. It's www.DateClubConnect.com.
There you go, DateClubConnect.com. Excellent.
If you have problems finding it, just search for Date Club Spain in Google, and you'll find us at the top of the search results.
Wonderful. And do you have a phone number or something that people can reach you on as well?
Yes, of course. They can call me literally 24/7, 7 days a week on 687 856 411.
I have to pull you up on that. You said they can call you 24/7. Isn't that leaving yourself, stressed out to the max?
I am, to be honest, but it's a casualty of the job, I'm afraid. So, these days you have to be available to people when they want the information, because if you're not, they can go somewhere else. Because with the age of internet, people may be on their computers at 3 a.m. in the morning and find you, and they want an answer. So I always think the answer is to be, available to people whenever they want to call you.
Well, I'll tell you what, Sarah, I'm very sorry, but if somebody is on the computer at 3 a.m. looking at a dating site and they think to call you at 3 a.m. in the morning, I'm going to say to them, get a life! You do not call up human beings, people who are sound asleep at 3 o'clock in the morning just because you're feeling lonely.
Listen, I feel the same, but they say the customer is always right.
Yeah, until they're wrong.
If you want to offer good customer service, you've got to be there for them.
Well, I'll tell you what, Sarah, I can recommend lots of lovely software that is free that you can download, and you can have this little robotic lady who now can have you. She can even have your voice, and she can answer the phone for you at 3 o'clock in the morning. You need to rest, lovely. You can't work 24/7.
I think you're right. I think I do. I need to get a life.
No, not you get a life. I mean the customers get a life at 3 a.m. I mean, who's going to call at 3 a.m. in the morning?
It happens. Believe me, I had one only 2 weeks ago at just before 2 a.m. in the morning. So some poor lonely soul wanting to meet a nice girl. So,
well, you poor lonely soul, there are telephone numbers that you can call without waking up somebody lovely like Sarah at 2 o'clock in the morning. Oh, dear. I'm sorry. I'm going off on one now. Well,
no, I'm sure your lovely Costa del Sol listeners won't be so unkind as to do that to me.
No.
Please try and call between normal office hours, 9 till 7. That should give you plenty of time to contact
Now, our listeners are absolutely exceptional, and besides besides that, they're not of the age to call at 3 o'clock in the morning. So, as far as I'm told, I could be wrong. But, because somebody also told me that nobody over the age of 21 ever comes to the Costa del Sol, which puts us all in the 19 bracket.
Oh, dear. Okay.
So it's wonderful, for us. Sarah, I'd like to say thank you so much for joining me this morning on the Good Morning Show. And tell me, are there any final thoughts or anything that you'd like to let our listeners know before we wrap up this morning?
Only really that if they're a little bit unsure about trying the events, to just please try and put all the nervousness aside, give it a try. We've always got our hosts there who will relax you, and honestly, once you get into the events, they're so casual and informal and fun.
Hang on.
They're bound to have a great time.
Sarah, I have to interrupt you there. You have to be very careful when you say our hostesses will relax you, because here on the Costa del Sol, that means something completely different. And if you don't know what I mean, just pick up a copy of the Sur in English and have a look at the back.
Oh dear. Shall I go now?
No, you have to just be very careful when you say that. It's not that kind of relaxation.
No, it isn't that kind of relaxation. But, everybody's welcome.
Excellent.
Everybody's welcome.
Sarah, you're such a beautiful lady. Thank you so much. I've really enjoyed talking to you this morning, and I really look forward to meeting you in the future.
Absolutely. The same here, Venerina.
Thank you very much. Have a fantastic day. Take care.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.